Well, how about that? What a fantastic way to get started today's webinar. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're ready to kick off your 2026 career success. This live webinar discussion is going to be really, really fantastic. So if you are watching, please tell me where you are watching from. Drop it in the comments. Also, it confirms that we have sound and that you can hear me and that we are able to reach you. So please drop it in the comments. Do me a favor there. Drop in the comments where you are watching. How can we support you this 2026? We are so excited to welcome our guest today so that we can carry on a very purposeful, intentional conversation. Remember, these Blue Star Career webinars are built to connect you to job opportunities, employer spotlights, and career pathways while sharing with you the latest connections that our network is able to bring to you, to all Blue Star Career members. So we're here every Wednesday. So please tune in and support, but also pay it forward. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your network, with your community. And then when in doubt, meet us in the neighborhood. I'm going to share with you a little bit more what you can do in the neighborhood so that you can elevate further your job search strategy and find more resources. Today's session is all about what job searching tools looks like in 2026, job search strategies, and more additional tips that you definitely need to learn more. Our expert today, Whitney Ortiz, who is a credible and all kinds of certified career coach, career resume writer, and all kinds of great informative about career readiness. She works for RecruitMilitary. She's the DoD Training and Development Manager, and she's recognized as a leader in career development in our space. So Whitney is going to bring to us all the latest that you need to know about 2026 career strategies and beyond. So if you have already posted in the comments where you're watching, thank you so much. Let us know how we can support you. And also, we love to be able to get your questions and comments. What's working for you? So tell us a little bit more towards the end. We'll highlight that as well. So thank you so much for supporting. Let's begin. Whitney, how about that enthusiasm and ready to dive in? It's so intentional into this discussion. Can you believe we are in the third week of January 2026? Job search strategies. What do we need to know? Well, we're so excited that you're here. But first, let us know all about you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about you. What do you do? Your hobbies? Anything you feel comfortable sharing with our members?
Hi, Laura, and we'll do it. It's also, yeah, it's crazy that it's 2026 already. I am still writing 2025 on all my stuff, and I'm sure probably many of us are in that same boat. As mentioned, I kind of have the alphabet soup after my name. I've taken the time to get certified to make sure I'm in the know on what's going on when it comes to resumes and employment topics. I am a certified professional resume writer, certified executive resume writer, certified federal career coach, certified federal job search trainer. But all of this really started back when my husband was on active duty. And I was a military spouse living around installations, trying to figure out what my next career was going to look like because it looked a little bit different prior to meeting my spouse. And I was up at Fort Drum in the nice, lovely snow and cold, trying to identify ways to get out of the house and things that I could do that would be of interest and be in my skill set and in my wheelhouse. And I fell upon this Department of Labor contract position with the TAP program. So I spent the first year and a half at Fort Drum working with the TAP teams, doing the advanced or doing the employment workshops, doing the what we call C2E. So running the DOL TAP classes, the 1 day and the 2 days that some of our active duty folks may have taken or veterans may have been in, while also running the military spouse teams classes and the veterans OBTT classes. And I was in that space for quite a few years. And from there, I found my way over to Recruit Military, where I became known as the webinar guru. It's kind of what I'm known for here at Recruit Military. I run our webinars on resumes and employment topics on pretty much a weekly basis. Kind of found my way here. Absolutely love it. And I love being able to help people around the world when it comes to these different topics because, as we know, the military is not limited to one time zone. So being able to come in and support no matter the time zone and no matter, who may need it in the community is absolutely incredible. And that's kind of how I ended up here and in this space,
That's
thanks to my
wonderful.
military spouse husband.
Absolutely. That's so great to hear. And, who more power to you as you definitely identified. And thank you so much for bragging and sharing, highlighting your excellent skill. You are a webinar guru. We love it. We love it that you are the expert and you're going to lead us to a very intentional discussion in just a little bit. But just share a little bit more about why was this such a good fit for you when you landed into career recruit military?
So I started with Recruit Military first as a job seeker. That's how I found out about it. In the Department of Labor space, it is a tactical connection program with the Department of the Army, and I learned about it from the Fort Drum TAP team. And my partner was getting ready to transition out of the military, so I was trying to assist in any way, shape, or form, while also looking for my next career because we were not going to be staying in Fort Drum. We'd already identified we were leaving the area, so I recommended he get Recruit Military and start filling out applications, making sure people know he's looking for a position. And I was doing the same on Recruit Military. I happened to stumble into one of my colleagues now on base and connect. And she helped once there was a position available for working on these webinars. She provided some insight, and then I said, "Hey, that sounds like the perfect fit because it's my lane I've been in for a while. It's a lane that I absolutely love staying in. I love providing feedback on resumes. I love learning about all the new trends, and resumes change a lot more than we think they do. Same with
Mhm.
what happens in the employment space. There's always moving parts. We had a federal resume webinar last week, and on Tuesday of last week, there was a change in how the federal government ranks and rates candidates. That happened in the middle of the webinar week. So I find that kind of nerdy fun, being able to be up to date on what's happening and then make sure people are informed and they're able to announce their presence into the workforce in a way that they want to announce their presence. They're able to describe their skills or experience, whether it's on paper, it's in words, it's on LinkedIn. It's all about how can you tell your story to the best extent, and what do I need to know about this? Let's have that conversation, webinar, one on one, whichever format works best for individuals, and let's get that job. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Excellent. And let's find out more. What is your workspace look like? So if you want to share with us a little bit more, walk us through the process. What are we missing at the moment, or what can we add to our strategy for 2026 with how you worked your day to day and how you proactively support others through Recruit Military? So take it over, and I'll just be here watching and listening, learning lots from you.
Oh, thank you, Lars. So, with Recruit Military, everything's going to start with letting us know you're there, announcing your presence into the workforce. And that's going to be creating that profile with us. Now, once you go in, whether it's through the webinars, which is the screen that we're looking at right now, or you come through the job board, it'll prompt you to create your profile. And over here, you can see my dashboard. This is my profile here with Recruit Military as a job seeker. So we want to know, what do you do? What are you looking to do? Where are you wanting to go? Remote, in person, overseas? Let us know this information. plug in your resume so we have access to that. And then that's going to be taken across our three main verticals, which include our job board, it includes our virtual and in person hiring events, and it includes our placement services. So the current screen right now is highlighting our job fair schedule because we run quite a few events, and there is a good chance we're going to be in your neck of the woods pretty soon. And if not, we are virtual on at least a monthly basis. And we do have next Tuesday our Western Region Virtual Career Fair. And then in February, we have our Transitioning Service Member and Spouse Virtual Career Fair. You can also capture the webinars we hold and host, our in-person events on the left-hand side. We have the filtering based on, are we looking for online, webinar, what date range, what states. And if there's one you're interested in, you click on it and it will provide that applicable information. We have our registration button, which if you are planning to come to an event, please click the register button. Please let us know. Please let our employer partners know. And please make sure that your materials reflect what it is you're searching for. And if I scroll on down, I can see those organizations that are going to be at that event in alphabetical order. It is the same type of screen for our webinars. If you're looking to come to learn a little bit more about federal jobs or to learn about LinkedIn or about civilian resumes, we host these webinars pretty much every single week. Every month we have something going on, which is awesome. We have our main webinar landing page. If that screen like Whitney, I don't quite understand like what these webinars cover. On our webinar landing page, which is under our job seeker tab, our webinars here, we have our main core webinars, our hiring event prep, which gets you ready for those hiring events, whether they're virtual or in person, our advanced employment workshop, which we're actually in right now this week. We have two more offerings tomorrow. This unpacks, job post analysis, interview techniques and strategies, negotiating salary. What am I wearing to my interviews? And then we have our resume classes, both civilian and federal, because while federal now mirrors similar to civilian, they're still not quite the same. So we unpack those two different types of documents. We look at the federal process, we look at the civilian side of the house. What are some things I should be considering as I'm working on this resume? We have our LinkedIn masterclass to help enhance your LinkedIn and how we're presenting ourselves to the public via LinkedIn. And then next week's actually our 10 steps to a federal job class. We hold this one once a month or once a quarter, and it unpacks, as it says, the 10 steps to a federal job, which is one of my favorites because it talks about the negotiations for federal jobs. And that's like a little hidden tip that you can negotiate federal job offers. A lot of times we're not sure if we can, you can. And we talk about that. That is the step 10 part, the exciting, yes, I have that offer. What's next? If you keep scrolling down, we have those webinars and we have the months. We have our schedule currently built out all the way through June. You toggle which month you're looking at and then which time works best for you. Because as I mentioned earlier, we serve the military and the military community worldwide. That doesn't just stop with East Coast or Pacific time. We have evening opportunities, which would be our Korea early morning time or our Japan early morning time. We have like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern, which is for our folks in Europe, it's their afternoon. So whatever time works for you and your schedule, you just toggle that button and it takes you right on over to where you can register, which I love. I love that, whatever morning, afternoon, evening, whatever works for you, we probably have an offering that fits that. So don't feel like you have to go by your time zone, go by your schedule. And then after the webinar, you get a nice, lovely resource packet, which has some really good information in there for extension of knowledge and looking at one pagers and maybe some sample resumes, some sample interview questions, or hey, what are some questions I should ask? So it kind of unpacks the webinar and okay, well, what do you want to look at now? Like, we want that salary negotiation. Okay, click, click. Okay, I'm there. I have that information in front of me as I'm prepping for my negotiation. And I remember what Whitney said about that. Okay, buttering them up like biscuits. I want to
Mm.
make them feel warm and fuzzy first. I got it. Let's do it. It's all about, feeling good and being confident in what we're looking at, whether it's resumes, interviewing, negotiating, job searching, going to hiring events. If we feel the part, that's half the battle. And webinars and our resources can help, and it can help with that confidence because now we know we have that information. we have that smile on our face and we're ready to do it.
Whoa, I am loving it, Whitney. I absolutely love it. I love the fact you had me at hello with time zones, right? All the different that you're able to support. Sometimes we get some members that are overseas Okanas and then transitioning, and it's just so hard sometimes to get that connection from far away, and then trying to manage the US, adapting to the hours, adapting to the workshops, and the fact that you have all that great support. I love it. I was so excited. I was ready to just go in and start creating my profile, Winnie. Absolutely. And most importantly, I also love it that you have all these great top career strategies, but also the support on the latest versions. I mean, what's the latest and working, because it's changing so super fast. I do want to ask you though, and put you on the spot. In your experience, given of what happened in 2025, it's federal employment is still pretty enjoyable to look and look for opportunities.
I think it is, but now it takes a little bit more strategy than it did prior. There's not as many opportunities. There are some more hurdles for jobs coming online. And 2025 kind of ripped that stability a little bit away from the federal side of the house, but you still have those set pay scales, which people love knowing that, hey, here's what I'm going to make. And if I stay this long, I'm going to make this, I'm going to make that. They like having that knowledge. And, federal government, sometimes we have a calling for it and we want to go that avenue no matter what might be happening. And I think it's important, if that is something we want to go to, that we are aware of what has changed. So what does today's hiring process look like? And then, okay, I see that, I got it. Now how can I best put my best foot forward on my resume now? How can I put my best foot forward in those interviews? Because as I mentioned, there are still opportunities. It's just not quite as many as before. So there is more competition, and it is going to take some more time on these materials to really ensure that we're doing our best and we are showing that. It's also us making sure that we know our hiring authorities and we know if we have veterans preference, and we're able to use that too, as I kind of call them like other ways in, because a lot of times we see the main door, the public pathways, but most of the time we have other avenues in too. So do you know about that garage door entrance or the side door or the back door? And are we using all of those channels? And oh, they're coming to a hiring event near us and I really want to work for that agency. Am I going and having that conversation with the person? Or am I just going to put in an application and not go and connect with that individual? Because even in the federal government, there is still that value of those face to face connections and those conversations. And sometimes that's where I can get even more insight, especially if they have any direct hiring authorities. I get a lot of that information from those in person interactions where I might not always see those as easily online. So definitely let's still go federal, but let's make sure we have that strategy and we know what's going on. So that way we can get in and we know what we need to be doing.
Absolutely. And that's what these webinars are for, that you also facilitate on a weekly basis at all hours of the day and the week, so that all of you can identify what are the best strategies. So if you look right there, there's a pamphlet. So if you go to the website, you'll be able to identify a little bit more what to expect at these webinars, and also so that you can get the ins and out before you spend more time, but also work your way, make a plan that really works for you. And so I'm going to stop sharing the screen with you, because I want to put you on the spot another way, because you guys have so many great resources through RecruitMilitary. You also have the career fairs. Let's talk about career fairs. Are career fairs still really what it's intended for? A lot of people go to job fairs, career fairs with the intent that I'm going to get hired right on the spot. How does it work, or what is your tip through attending one of your RecruitMilitary career fairs?
I really love that question because it's so multifaceted. Yes, there are on the spot opportunities definitely happening. There are on the spot interviews, but not every company has the same bandwidth or has the same battle rhythm. They all have their own internal structure, their own internal processes. So where there will be companies going and doing these things on site in person, there will be others who are getting those resumes and passing them to those team members that need that. The more generalized recruiters are taking them and saying, okay, You wanted your IT technicians. Here are those stack of IT technician resumes. So they're making it easier to get those to the right location. It's also the value of conversation because paper is one thing, same with an online application, but I can gain a lot more from my interaction with you if I can put a face with a person and if I can put a conversation with the person. And if I can remember that person in that conversation with that paper, that right there is where what we should be striving for. How can we make an impact? Are we just going in and saying, hire me, here's my resume? Or are we going in and we're able to express the value of what our experiences bring into the table? We're able to describe that, provide those credentials or the educational background, provide an example or two, and then we give them that resume. So they have that story, they have that face, they have that document now. That's going to carry a lot more weight than just I go online to a job board and I press the apply button. So, if I'm able to go and have that conversation, I'm going to do that. And, maybe that turns into an on the spot interview, maybe that turns into an on the spot offer, or maybe it turns into an easier pathway into that organization because that individual I spoke with, they really enjoyed that conversation and they really want to see me in that role. So they're going to go around and say, hey, check out this person's resume. And that way I get seen even sooner. There's really no downside to going to a hiring event. But if we don't go, they're not going to have a face and a person to associate with what you do and what your specialty is. We want to have that conversation.
Right.
It's also a lot harder to say no to a face than it is to say no to a piece of paper.
I love it. Thank you for infusing all that great confidence and encouraging us to go in person to an affair, to an event, so that we can really explore those human connections. And then in today's market, also with social networks, it's so easy also to identify the point of contact if they don't share with you a direct sort of phone number or email. You can just go to LinkedIn and then follow up with them, and then hopefully they'll remember you as well, and you made a great impression that you can continue to nourish that relationship a little bit further. But let's talk about job boards. Also, job boards, do they really work? How does it work with RecruitMilitary, and what are some of the results, that strategies that we can apply for for us? So we go to the career fair, we identified a few partners, and then we're like, oh, I love it, I'm going to go to the job board at RecruitMilitary. Now I'm going to identify a few other ones. How do I execute that with you guys?
I love that question because yes, I'm going to go to that and I'm going to press that apply button. And I'm going to make sure that person I spoke with at the hiring event knows that I applied to that position because they might not have direct oversight onto that job requisition and who all has applied and whose resume. But if I let them know that I did that action item, I went in, I applied for, let's just say, like senior project manager position here on the RecruitMilitary job board, I tell them they can pull that application up sooner and let their people who do have oversight potentially know that, hey, check out this person. So on our RecruitMilitary job board, first and foremost, we are not pulling from any other job boards. These job boards were created in the RecruitMilitary ecosystem. We're not copy and pasting. Data is not coming over from other places. These are all unique in our ecosystem. So rest assured, like there's not going to be spam postings. I know some other sites, sometimes, you have to navigate between what may or may not seem legit. That's not a concern that you have to worry about in the RecruitMilitary ecosystem. The other thing is a lot of our job roles will take the data from your profile and go ahead and preemptively fill that in, which is really nice. Less typing that we have to do and less steps we have to take, less copying and pasting. Those that don't will direct you over into that organization's board and it will show and plug and chug to pull in that resume. But the good news is within the job board, with their profile, it just kind of feeds that information in. And then the employer representatives from that organization can go in and see, hey, who's applied? Okay, got it. And they can kind of see that data, which is really cool. And even better is at our hiring events, you actually have a QR code that connects that employer representative to your profile. So they'll scan a QR code or there's a 6-digit code. Sometimes they prefer to enter that in. So I could be having this conversation at the hiring event and, oh no, I gave out all my resumes already. But they ask you my QR code, they scan it, and now I'm already in their ecosystem. I'm in their system. They know I exist. They can see my resume. They can see my contact information. So I don't have to worry about not having enough copies of my document, because that sometimes is another worry too. It's all
Right.
integrated in the ecosystem, which is, I think, absolutely incredible and one less stressor for going to these events. And the same for our virtual events. They can see your information. They can take notes on it. They can, rate you, plug it in. So that way on the back end, it makes it easier to find you, easier to reach back out to you. They can see your resume, so you're not having to worry about like posting PII in a chat box. That's not something you have to worry about here. And not something that we should be doing either. So please don't like randomly put email addresses and stuff in the chat box. Keep that to like a one-on-one conversation. Don't post that to the public. Be
I
aware.
love it. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So be very intentional, I guess, and overall, you're going through the hiring event, or when you go to a virtual chat, as well as keep it very direct with the employer. And so I'm going to go ahead and highlight once again the site, because I'm looking at here, and that's 183,000 active jobs. 15,000 of them, Brittany, got added today. So well, that's like almost the entire ecosystem here that we have currently going on in the career system. So everybody can get a job. You get a
It's
job.
incredible.
Can we
We
be
had the
Oprah
math
today
done.
and said, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job?
There's so many opportunities in so many locations, not just stateside, but remote, overseas. And, we're global. I mean, you probably do a job, maybe not in Antarctica. I'm not sure if we have Antarctica in our ecosystem right this second. But outside of Antarctica, you can probably go almost anywhere, and there's a job on our job board for that.
Awesome. Now let's talk about the latest 2026 trends. I know that, over the course of so many months in the past, the ATS, the darn ATS, and the AI assisting pre-screening and screening is really sort of a challenging a few members from our community. How do we deal with that? How do we deal with AI? How do we deal with AI pre-screening or ATS systems in order for us to really position our job applications to the best of our services?
That is a big sticky spot. We want to make sure we're getting through the system, but how do we do so? Yeah, we have to make sure we are maximizing our examples on our resume. And we don't want to just copy from AI, because I know that's another thing. We like to use AI to help. Please do so. Use it to enhance your resume and your materials. But I would not recommend copying that job posting and then telling AI to create your resume, because that takes the human element out. And it could get through that initial screener, but when it gets to a person, they're going to see that and say, well, this human didn't write this. There's no soul in it. I had another resume writer convey that. I'm like, you're right. It does take the soul out of the resume. We want to know the person and what they've done. If we're trying to get through those AI systems, which they are a thing, let's make sure that the skills and the language that that organization is using in that post, that we have that on our resume. If they're talking about management, maybe our leadership, we change that to management and we come from the management angle. If they want to see an example of communication because they want communication skills, okay, when was a time you had to use your communication skills? I think a lot of times we get hung up on trying to include every word. That's not really possible. There's a lot of words in these job postings. We want to give examples that show and verify how we can do those duties and how we have the skills and requirements. If we do that, we don't really need to worry about the AI system or ATS, because we're going to be getting through because we have the stuff included. Now, where it could still be that sticky spot is if an organization has a hard requirement and that's not shown in your resume. That could be that sticky spot. Well, unfortunately, you don't meet what we're looking for. But if we have comparable pieces on there, communicate that. I was just having a conversation with an individual today that they have the military version of this tool. And it's not quite the same as the civilian version, but if you can convey, I've done this tool and here's what it does, here is how I've used it, it is similar to this tool, that checks out. Don't say you have that tool experience if you don't have it, but show how you've used your company specific or military branch specific tool and what that's like. What did you do with that? How did you use it? Give me that information, and that's still going to be good and get you through the system. So I think we sometimes get a little bit overworked about, oh no, I got to get through the system. As long as you have the stuff, you're going to be good. Just take a deep breath, breathe it out, and just make sure you have those examples on your resume and you're golden. That's the key to success.
Yes. And when in doubt, just attend the next webinar and career session with Whitney, and she will walk you through it. But
Yes,
as
please.
we're getting closer to wrap up, I want to encourage all of you who are watching to please post your questions or share comments. We're going to go ahead and take a few minutes to highlight all of you who are watching through all the various social networks. But I do want to also put Whitney on the spot and ask her, Whitney, give it to me. I'm a brand new job seeker. I woke up today. I need to find a new job. What are some of those 3-step, 5-step, maybe proactive tips or action items that I can do utilizing RecruitMilitary? What will be the first thing I need to do? Second thing, checkbox, all of those great things so that I'm successful and find a job before in no time.
Let's do it. So, first thing we need to do, make sure you have a profile with us because we don't know you exist unless you tell us you exist. So, give us that information and then take the time to let us know what type of roles you're looking for. And we even have on within the profile that you can add in your compensation ranges that you're looking at, different locations. So, key in as much information as you want to provide us. Plug in your resume. So, create the profile, let's activate the profile by adding in those pieces and announcing your presence in the workforce. Once we've done those two steps, that's the heavy lifting. Now it's okay. Maybe my resume needs a little bit of work. Let's go to a webinar. Let's let Whitney tell us how we need to set up this resume and get some feedback from her. And then let's update that. Or, maybe it's let me go to a hiring event. There's one on Tuesday afternoon, Eastern time, or in the morning Pacific time. Let's go to that hiring event. Let's have those conversations. Oh, they're coming nearby to my community. Let me go in person to that hiring event. So create that profile, activate your profile, and then engage where you need that extra support. If it's via webinars, come my way. I'll see you probably sometime Tuesday to Thursday afternoon when I'm in my webinars. Hopefully, I'll see some of you all. And if webinars aren't what you're looking for, come to one of our hiring events in person or one of our virtual ones. Again, we have virtual at least once a month. We have one on Tuesday. We have one coming up February 10th. Take a look at our calendar and see what aligns with your schedule. You might need to do some time zone math depending on what time zone you're coming in from. So just check the time zone on it. And those are going to be the main keys for success is just letting us know what it is you want to do and how you want to do it, and then going in and applying that via hiring events, via our webinars, or going in and just pressing the apply and doing your applications through our job board, letting us know, and then we're getting serious and we're doing those action items.
Excellent. So create your profile, start updating and build it up so that it's very intentional. What do you want to do? How do you want to work? And select all of those great perks that RecruitMilitary offers. Then start engaging through some of the virtual or in-person offerings. And then when in doubt, just follow Whitney and let's hustle with her and find out how can we really land the next career opportunity, because there's so many incredible partners, resources, and all of you who are watching, if you have already identified, there are such a tremendous network of very vetted and intentional partners who really want to help you out. But we got to know where you want to go and how we can all support you. So if you look right here, like Veronica, it's just shared where you can create your profile in RecruitMilitary. So start there. And then please come back to the neighborhood and tell us a little bit about your experience. But we want to make sure that we reach as many other members as possible so that we can all pay it forward and build a full circle of success for everyone, so that we can all get that great career opportunity that we definitely looking for. So Whitney, with so much time already in such a great conversation, give us also, just as we getting ready to plan out or and to clock out for this webinar, and I will take a few minutes also in just a little bit to highlight a few members who are watching on some of the social networks. But for us, what will be our call to action? If we're wrapping this up, what will be your 2026 final call to action that you can share with us that we can all take into consideration?
Create that profile, be intentional and targeted. A job is great, but what type of role? That's going to really help all of those deliverables, whether it's profile, resume, interview, those different pieces come my way. I'll be pointing you to more resources and potentially other perspectives and other tools for success too. So, when in doubt, come to one of Whitney's wonderful webinars. There's your alliteration for the day. But do create that profile. Do use those links that I know are going on in the chat box. We're here to support the military community, job boards, hiring events, placement services. Whitney's wonderful webinars here at Recruit Military. That's so catchy now. We're here to support, but first we need to know that you exist. So please make sure that you tell us about yourself. That way we can connect you to the right tools and resources that are needed.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And let's take some time here to say it, a huge shout out and highlight on LinkedIn. We got Janet. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Naseen, Angela, Kennedy, Pedro. Thank you so much for supporting Pedro, Betsy, Rosalia, Brianna, Jennifer, Whitney, another Whitney. We have Carly, Graciela, Brandy, Marcia, Jennifer, Deanna. Thank you so much. We have Aurora as well. Those are all on LinkedIn helping and supporting. And then we have some other members in our neighborhood community as well. And so thank you so much for supporting as well as on Facebook. And I'm trying to get the names of those people here. Oh, well, some of them are private. Oh, they did not disclose their profile. It's okay. You be shy, but just know that we got you here. Thank you over in the neighborhood. I have Sierra. And so thank you so much for supporting and connecting with us. Thank you for Carol here on LinkedIn as well, who showed up and say hello. And we have other comments here, but my system here is going. Eva, we shared the link. Eva, I hope that you are able to get connected directly. And then to our colleague out there in the neighborhood as well. And thank you so much for saying hello and supporting. Thank you, Whitney, there we go. We have Carol saying thank you so much. So thank you everyone for supporting today. Again, head out to Recruit Military, create your profile, and then keep us posted. Follow up with Whitney, follow up with us. Come back to the neighborhood and let us know how you are navigating your job search strategy. Share with other members as well. In both communities, what is it that is working for you? What was your takeaway? We love to be able to hear your success story so that we can share wins with Whitney as well, but also with other members who are perhaps a little bit more disconnected from some of the great resources that they may not be able to fully be aware that exist. And so this is a great way that you can pay it forward and support other military spouses. Thank you, Whitney. Anything else that we can share before we take off and say thank you so much for today?
Oh, thank you so much, Laura. And thank you so much, Blue Star Families, for having us on. Again, folks, please come my way to one of the webinars. I'm happy to direct you to some other avenues too and to provide that support for resumes, interview, salary negotiation, federal hiring, all those fun things, and or our career fairs. You'll probably see me in the Recruit Military room for our virtual career fairs and probably see my face at the top and bottom of every hour in the virtual career fairs. So please come our way, create that profile, and I hope to see some of you, maybe all of you, in our webinars and or hiring events.
Absolutely. And we love to hear you and see you and stay in touch with you. So thank you so much. We'll come back. Please don't let the whole year go by to coming back to help us support and bring us a new tip and trick as well as new updates on what's working and what's not working in the 2026 job search strategy. So thank you so much for supporting today. We'll be in touch. Thank you, Whitney.